This is an extract from the Leader Coronavirus Daily podcast by the Evening Standard and hosted by me, David Marsland. To hear the whole thing, search for it on your podcast provider.
We're in 2020 now, and it's just something that I don't believe should be happening. You know, that this is all going on at a time where kids should be concentrating on schoolwork and stuff like that.
Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford, talking to BBC Breakfast there, has helped force a stunning U-turn from the government to provide free school meals for the needy over summer. His letter to MPs using his own impoverished past struck a chord with the nation and sounded the death knell for the policy. Our editorial column says the government faced 3 problems with stopping the scheme.
First, this administration already took the decision to provide meal vouchers during the Easter holidays, so why cancel them for the summer? Second, the Tories are coming from behind on the issue. They used to be in front. David Cameron's coalition administration introduced free school meals for all in certain primary school years, but Theresa May pointlessly promised to scrap that in her disastrous 2017 election manifesto, something the Evening Standard said at the time was a mistake and which she was forced to abandon. Third, the government have simply been outplayed by Marcus Rashford. He has put a moral and just case for action, without being partisan or shrill.
The Evening Standard's political editor Joe Murphy joins me now. Joe, what exactly sparked this U-turn by the PM today?
There's one name who's sparked this U-turn today, and it's Marcus Rashford, a Manchester United footballer and England player who has really made a quite extraordinary intervention in politics. He wrote an open letter to MPs, he did some TV interviews, and this morning he was doing a series of tweets all about child poverty and his own compelling story, which is that as a young lad, he depended on food banks and free school meals to grow when he was growing up, and warning that in coronavirus, lots of people who weren't in need usually were in need.
He sparked a fair bit of political pressure. Where's that been coming from and what's been said?
You know, we've seen really a remarkable example of how politics can work sometimes when emotion and big personalities come together and operate to really find the pinch point for change. What you found was Marcus Rashford, this Manchester United player, who really galvanised this whole debate about free school meals carrying on for the whole summer holidays, which they've never done usually. And you then found a series of senior Conservative figures coming out saying, actually, why are we holding out against this? It's funny, Bonnie, but it's going to cost £120 million in addition to a £63 million hardship fund that the Prime Minister announced last week to do this U-turn. That's a huge amount of money. And yet, in the context of today's pandemic response, where the taxpayer is spending tens of billions of pounds every month supporting furloughed workers and businesses, actually, it's a pretty small amount of change to risk a big political hoo-ha.
Is there a sense that they responded quickly enough?
It's been pretty quick as U-turns go. You might remember that in the 2017 general election, Theresa May wanted to cut free school meals and she said she'd do it, and then she lost her majority and had to do a U-turn at leisure rather than at haste. Well, Boris Johnson has read the writing on the wall and he's seen senior Tories. I think the mood was summed up best by the Scottish former Conservative leader, Ruth Davidson, who said, "Come on guys, is this really the hill we want to die on?" And of course, nobody wants to go down as the person who withdrew free school meals. Even today, Margaret Thatcher is remembered in some quarters as Thatcher, milk snatcher. Well, this was, relatively speaking, a small amount of money, but the political consequences of not U-turning could have been quite large.
And finally, how many kids is this going to impact, and what does it mean for them now to have this programme extended?
So for the extra £120 million, you'll be getting a one-off voucher. So at the start of the school holidays, the families of all the people who are currently eligible for free school meals, and that's about 1.3 million children, or 15% of state school pupils. They'll get a voucher, and it'll be redeemable in supermarkets every week for meals or ingredients. And the value of that, well, I think school meals at the moment are valued at about £15 a week, but the details of exactly what this will be worth, they're still to come. But the principle is out there, and just before there was going to be a Commons vote on the issue, the government has U-turned.
Search for the Leader Coronavirus Daily on any podcast provider to hear more from the podcast.